While the Russian president thinks he's doing fine with his campaign into Ukraine, Russian billionaires are getting absolutely wrecked by the sanctions from the international community. The situation has become so extreme that some of them literally went to bed as billionaires to then wake up the next day as a poor millionaire. Now, for us mere mortals, it might not seem that bad to go from 1 billion to 200 million, since you can still live a very comfortable life. However, there are some additional problems that will make this 200 million seem like pocket change, and these losses are going to completely bankrupt quite a few of them. So let's look at the main guy, Oleg Tinkov. Because before the war started, Tinkoff was worth around $5 billion, most of which he made by taking Tinkoff Bank public. However, as soon as Putin declared to invade Ukraine, the shares of the Tinkoff Group fell from around $49 to $3.19, which is a 93% decline, and this entire fortune evaporated in just 6 days. However, this decline is actually much worse when you consider that before the troop buildup along the Ukrainian border, the Tinkoff Group was actually valued at over $23 billion, with a share price of 116. So this would make the total decline well over 97%. This is an insane level of wealth destruction, and Oleg Tinkov isn't even the only one. Dozens of Russian billionaires are experiencing the exact same thing. Take Arkady, for instance, the founder of the largest Russian search engine, Yandex. He went from $2.6 billion last year to around $580 million right now. Now, there are some Russians that have lost considerably more wealth due to the invasion, such as Vagit Alekperov, who is the founder of LUKOIL, the largest independent oil producer in Russia, which has lost over 40% of its value, and Alekperov himself has lost around 16 billion across all of his assets. However, since his $21 billion wealth only fell to around 5 billion, he can still go to bed as a billionaire for the time being. Now, the reason why we focus on the billionaires that have become millionaires is because of what happened earlier this year to Arkady Capital and the man responsible for the bankruptcy, Bill Wang. You see, when you become rich, you get access to private banking at your local bank, and when you become wealthy, you get access to private banking at the biggest investment banks in the world. Many billionaires take advantage of this by leveraging their assets or stock portfolio to get access to credit lines or loans, which they then use to develop real estate or speculate with on the stock market. Before we continue, please like and subscribe to support the channel. Now, Bill Wang took this to a whole nother level and seriously over-leveraged himself by gambling with his investments. However, even when you do this correctly, a 93% drop in your assets or stock portfolio is more than enough for the banks to start closing your credit lines and start asking for their money back. And this is where the true problem lies. Because if any of these billionaires have credit lines or loans in the range of 200 to 500 million, which would be a perfectly normal amount when you have a net worth of 2 to 5 billion, then they are in big trouble. They will have to start liquidating assets like houses or super yachts to pay back the banks, and that might be easier said than done, since several countries have already started seizing several super yachts, and the UK is now also looking at seizing houses in London's famous Billionaires Row. This elite strip of real estate has been bought and developed for years by very wealthy Russians, and they've invested huge amounts here in order to protect their wealth against the falling ruble and a crazy president. Since as soon as you fall out of favor in Russia, your assets can easily be seized and you can find yourself in a Russian prison. Another bit of bad news for the Russian billionaires is that the losses are far from over, since the Russian stock market has been closed by the central bank to prevent an even bigger fall. So when the stock market eventually opens up, the drop in value can simply continue, and their domestic assets that are now protected from falling will begin to fall as well. So unfortunately for the Russian elite, the hits are coming from all directions, and trying to remain rich is going to be very difficult, especially if you only have $100 million.